During the mid-1990s, one of the largest technological trends was for multimedia. The introduction of optical disc media such as the compact disc meant that software and games could include huge amounts of data, which previously would not have been available on cartridge or diskette. The compact disc meant that video games and multimedia software such as Encarta's Encyclopedia could be shipped with actual video, voiceover, CD quality audio, and encyclopedias worth of text for people to read and click and enjoy. In this environment, several companies tried to produce hardware that would take advantage of the multimedia trends of the day. One such company will be the subject of today's video, the 3DO system. The 3DO system was not a piece of hardware developed by a single company, but rather was a design spec. Anyone who licensed the technology could build their own hardware that would presumably be able to play all software that was designed towards the specifications of the 3DO system. While Panasonic is the company that is most strongly associated with the 3DO, having made multiple systems, there were other companies that made 3DO systems as well, including LG, Sanyo, and even Creative Labs, maker of the Sound Blaster audio card for PC. Trip Hopkins' idea for the 3DO would be that it would be a device that would have multiple uses. A multimedia device that you might even build into the walls of your own home that would be capable of playing back video games, educational software, and productivity software. This means that the software library for the 3DO system is very unique. It's not just limited to video games, so the question is, compared to other video game systems of the 1990s, how does the 3DO library compare? Do these games hold their value? Have they gone up or down over the years? Well, that's exactly what we're going to explore in today's video as we take a look at the top 25 most valuable 3DO games. What's up, Internet? I'm Technohead, and welcome back to my channel, RetroTech. This is the next episode in my series, Pixels to Polygons, which is taking a look at the values of classic video games from the early 90s to the early 2000s. We are now firmly in the compact disc era. Last time we took a look at the Sega CD, and today we're taking a look at a multimedia powerhouse, the 3DO. The 3DO system was a disc-based system, and much of the software that was released could also be found on other systems, but there was many unique titles that were only available on 3DO because of the unique multimedia capabilities of the machine. The 3DO was innovative in many ways. For example, it included the ability to add expanded memory so that you could save your games. Of course, memory cards would become a standard part of most video game systems moving forward, but 3DO was one of the systems that innovated this technology. It also included multimedia features such as visualizers for CD audio playback and CD and graphics capability for use with karaoke CDs. And this multimedia aspect was actually a challenging part of making this video. I had to decide what to include. There are several titles for the 3DO that are very valuable, but that are not actually video games. In fact, some of the most expensive software for the 3DO today are actually adult video CDs from companies like Vivid. These are little more than adult DVDs without any interactivity at all. For that reason, I'm going to leave them off the list, not because of any prurient objection to adult content, but just because I don't really feel that they're games. I'll probably come back and make a video later on 3DO smut because it is a really interesting topic and there's a lot of weird stuff out there, and I think it deserves its own kind of unique look. For the sake of this list, I'm going to focus primarily on interactive titles and video games. Anything that's a video CD or a video encyclopedia or something like that will not be on the list, despite the fact that in some cases they are more expensive than the video games available for 3DO. Let's talk a little bit about the methodology of this video. In these videos, I'm interested in seeing how the value has changed for classic games over the last 20 years. For that reason, I want to compare apples to apples. I can't use eBay data or price charting because it doesn't go back that far. I needed to find a source that had price lists from 2004 and today in 2024, and for that reason, I'm going to be using the price list of a local video game store in Los Angeles called Game Dude. Using the Wayback Machine, I'm going to take a look at Game Dude's 2004 price lists for the 3DO, then adjust them for inflation, and compare them to the 2024 price lists of Game Dude today to see if the values have gone up or down for these games. I'm also going to include the rarity from rarityguide.com so that we can see if the rarity of these games has any impact on the value. But that's enough table setting. Let's get to the main course. Let's count them down. The top 25 most valuable 3DO games. We begin this list with one of many ports of microcomputer games, Amiga games, and the like, with Dinopark Tycoon. This is a very rare game for the 3DO at a 98. The 2004 price for Dinopark Tycoon was $99. And today in 2024, if you wanted to pick up a copy, you have to spend $199, which is a 101% increase in value for Dinopark Tycoon. That's followed up by the infamous Night Trap. Night Trap on the Sega CD was very famous because it was one of the games featured in the Senate hearings about violent video games. This is an FMV game where you try to rescue girls at a sleepover party from trash bag wearing zombie creatures. This game is kind of rare for the 3DO. It is $70. It was $49 back in 2004. And in 2024, it's gone up to $99, which is a 102% increase in value. Then we have another FMV video game here. This game plays a lot like Rise of the Dragon for Sega CD. It's a mystery that you're solving. It stars Tracy Scoggins, who is a fitness instructor turned actress. Snowjob was an 86 on the Rarity Guide, and it was only $40 back in 2004. That's gone up to $99 in 2024, which is a 148% increase in value for Snowjob. Then we have what is considered to be the best port of Street Fighter II on any home console. This is Super Street Fighter II Turbo. It's a medium rarity. It's not as hard to find. It's a 60. And back in 2004, this game was selling for $40. But today, in 2024, it's going for $109, which is a 173% increase in value for Super Street Fighter II Turbo. And then we have Lost Eden, which is a game that plays somewhat like Myst or something like that. I was kind of clicking around here, as you can see in the gameplay. This is another extremely rare game at a 90 on Rarity Guide. Game Dude was selling it for $40 back in 2004, but today, if you wanted to pick up a copy, you'd have to spend $109, which is a 173% increase in value for Lost Eden. Then we've got another great fighting game port. This is Samurai Showdown, the Neo Geo classic. Maybe not the best version of Samurai Showdown, that would probably be on the Neo Geo AES, but this is a very decent game, especially if you have the Panasonic JZ1 arcade stick. This game was going for $32 back in 2004, but today in 2024, it's going for $89, which is a 178% increase in value for a 56 rarity game. That's followed up by Slopestyle. Slopestyle is not listed on Rarity Guide, and that's probably because it's not actually a game, or it just barely qualifies as a game. It has some real basic interactive sections where you're choosing stuff on a cube, and then that plays videos, which I guess are teaching you how to snowboard. That's what it seems like based on what I played of it. It was $32 back in 2004, but in 2024, the price has gone up to $109, which is a 241% increase in value. Then we have the classic horror game D. This game was ported to the Saturn as well, and there was a sequel called D2. This is a Kenji Eno joint. He's a real pioneer of horror video games. This game was only going for $25 back in the day, and that's a great price. It's $89 today. That's a 256% increase in value for this great early horror classic. That brings us to the only JRPG on the 3DO. This is Lucienne's Quest. Also notable because the Japanese version used the kanji memory in the Japanese 3DO, one of the few games to actually do that, which means this is one of the few games that is not playable between regions. Lucienne's Quest is very rare in the US. It's a 95. It was $82 back in 2004, and that's gone up considerably. This is one of the real rare games, $399, which is a 387% increase in value. Then we have a respectable sports title. This is Olympic Soccer, a rare game at an 84. This game was only going for $18 back in the day, and that price has gone up considerably. It is now going for $89, which is a 394% increase in value for a very good 3D soccer game, Olympic Soccer. Then we see another PC port. This is Lemmings. Lemmings is a fun puzzle game. It's somewhat rare on the 3DO with a 65. Back in 2004, Lemmings was going for $18, and that price has gone up. It is now going for $89 at a Game Dude, and that is a 394% increase in value for this classic puzzle game. Then we have a very interesting sort of Doom clone. This is Killing Time, which takes place on an island where you're collecting kind of Egyptian relics and shooting ducks and stuff like that. This game is not especially rare. It's a 61. This is one of the few games I actually own. This is going for $18 back in 2004, but the price has gone up. It's going for $89 today, and that's a 394% increase in value for Killing Time. This is a real interesting one. At number 13, we have Johnny Bazookatone, which is a sort of musical platformer where you play a guy in the distant future who's using a guitar to attack his enemies, and he's trying to escape from prison and the devil. Weird game. This game was $18 back in 2004, and that price has gone up to $89, which is a 394% increase in value for Johnny Bazookatone. Then we have another of these kind of softcore adult titles here. This is Neurodancer, which the best I can describe this is if Sewer Shark had scenes where you'd see girls kind of in lingerie every now and then. This game is very rare at a 91 on Rarity Guide. It was going for $40 back in 2004, and that price has gone up. It's going for $199 today. That's a 398% increase in value for Neurodancer. Then we have a very bizarre game. This is Cyberdillo, a game about an armadillo who got run over and was rebuilt with cyber parts, and he's going around a psychedelic world collecting disco clothes for some reason. This game is not super rare at a 51. It was only selling for $18 20 years ago, and that price has gone up to $99 today, which is a 450% increase in value for Cyberdillo. And we have another weird one here. This is Zhadnost, the People's Party. This game takes place in a kind of Eastern European country that's recently come out of communism, and now they're having a weird capitalist game show, and it's a trivia game. This game's kind of rare. It is 63. Back in 2004, Game Dude was selling this for $18, and that price has gone up, selling for $109 today, which is a 506% increase in value. Then we have another game. You can only get this kind of stuff on the 3DO. This is like a kind of digital picture third-person shooting game. Sort of looks like if Mortal Kombat was a shooting game or something like that. This is Virtuoso at number 9, rarity of 74. This game was going for $18 back in 2004, but today a copy is going to set you back $109, which is a 506% increase in value for Virtuoso. Then we have another port of an Amiga game here. This is Robinson's Requiem, which is a first-person sort of survival exploration game. Also kind of similar to Myst, I guess you could say. It's got some FMV cutscenes and CD quality audio. This game was going for $18 back in 2004. But in 2024, a copy of Robinson's Requiem is going for $109, which is a 506% increase in value. Then we have a game based on the Casper film that came out in the 90s. This is a licensed title. And this game is not super rare. It's a 58 on the Rarity Guide. This game was only going for $18 back in 2004, but if you wanted to pick up a copy of Casper today, you'd have to spend $109, which is a 506% increase in value for this delightful game featuring a small child ghost. Then we have a game that shows up on a couple other systems at this time. This is BC Racers, also was on the Sega CD and a few other systems like that. BC Racers is just a kart game set in sort of a Flintstones-like universe where you're racing around and punching dinosaurs and stuff like that. This game was going for $18 20 years ago, and if you wanted to pick up a copy of BC Racers today, you have to spend $109, which is a 506% increase in value. Then we have a real infamous one here. This is Plumbers Don't Wear Ties, a kind of rare game at a 64, although I've never seen a copy of it before. Plumbers Don't Wear Ties is an interactive slideshow. It's kind of a softcore adult game. This game was going for $32 back in 2004, and in 2024 it's going for $109, which, like a few other games on this list, is a 506% increase in value. Then we have another great fighting game for the 3DO. This is Primal Rage, a game that asks the questions, what if dinosaurs decided to fight to the death? Back in 2004, a copy of Primal Rage for 3DO was only going for $13 at Game Dude, and that price has gone up. In 2024, it's selling for $89, and that is a 585% increase in value for Primal Rage. That's followed up by Putt Putt Goes to the Moon at number 3. This is a children's multimedia title, which, anyone who was a kid back in the 90s could recognize this kind of interface. You had a little car who's going around and accidentally launches himself to the moon at a fireworks factory. This game is a rarity of 30, so it's not super rare. It was only $12 20 years ago, and that's gone up to $89 today, which is a 642% increase in value. At number 2, we've got a real classic. This is Wolfenstein 3D, one of the earliest first-person shooter games. This game was $18 at Game Dude back in the day, and if you wanted to escape from Castle Wolfenstein today, you'd have to spend $149, and that's a 728% increase in value for Wolfenstein 3D on the 3DO. And that brings us to our last game. What will the number 1 game be? It's Cannon Fodder. Cannon Fodder is a title that had a lot of different releases later on and was ported to several different systems. The 3DO version is really fun to play. It has good controls and great graphics. It's not especially rare at $28, and it was only selling for $13 back in 2004, but because it's going for $109 today, that gives it a 738% increase in value and puts it at the top of our list, Cannon Fodder. And there you have it, the top 25 3DO games. Was there anything on this list that surprised you, or was there anything that didn't get included on the list that you would have expected? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to know what you think. Thanks so much for stopping by my channel and checking out this video. We'll be back next week with more compact disc-based video gaming goodness as we take a look at the Neo Geo CD. If you're a fan of arcade quality graphics, you're not going to want to miss it. So make sure to hit the subscribe button and click the bell icon so when that video is released next week, you'll be notified. And while you're clicking around, you might as well smash that like button too. My channel is small, but it is growing, and every like and share helps me, and I truly appreciate it. That's all we have for today. We'll see you next week as we take a look at the Neo Geo CD. Until then, this is Technohead, signing off.
We have guidance internal. 10, 9, 8, ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engines running, commit, liftoff. We are